welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle. Today we are going to be having some fun with masking. So this is the Lawn Fawn Thanks a Latte set, and I was looking at this set I put together my sort of Christmas capsule the other day, and I was looking at all my different sets to use for this Christmas season, and I saw this one and it reminded me of a friend of mine, and I will tell you more about that story once we get through this part, because this is kind of the technique part that I want to explain to you. So I'm using my Misty just because why not use my Misty? And these are brand new stamps. I feel like I should say this. This is brand new. I mean, it's an older stamp set. It came out a few years ago in a Lawn Fawn Winter release from a while ago, but I haven't used these stamps before, and watch how nicely they stamp the first time. Lawn Fawn, by far, one of my favorite stamp companies, pretty much ever. Like, if somebody told me, like, you have to only shop at one stamp company for the rest of forever, it'd probably be Lawn Fawn. Because I've always had a thing for their products. I like cutesy cards, simple and cutesy, and I know a lot of people aren't into that, but I like it. I think it's fun. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp this hot cocoa mug, and this part is just like you would normally do any other stamping. So I am actually using a way bigger piece of paper than I need to, because I had an entirely different plan for this card, and sometimes things just don't work out the way you plan, and this was one of those times. So I ended up doing a bit too much in the end and needed to make some changes. So now we're going to do the masking part. So this is the Inkadinkado masking paper, and you can already see there's a cut out of it because I also made another mistake called I stamped on the wrong side of the masking paper because I was just not thinking straight. So I had accidentally stamped on the side that doesn't stick instead of the side that does stick. So always make sure you stamp on the right side of it. If you're using this Inkadinkado stuff, you stamp on the white side of it, not the blue side of it. The blue side of it is not the sticky side, and your image will not be facing the right direction if you do that. So I just stamped the cup again. This is just really basic masking. Like, masking doesn't get more simple than this. And there's a bunch of other masking products out there. There's Gina K Designs has a mask for masking magic, which is really similar to this Inkadinkado paper, and this is just what I had on hand. I've seen people use Post-it notes. Honestly, you can do it with a regular piece of paper and just put it on a temporary adhesive in the back, some kind of a removable adhesive. I've seen people do a ton of different things. Again, I just happen to have this around and decide I really want to try the Gina K stuff, which is kind of why I'm trying to use up this Inkadinkado stuff, so I can justify trying the Gina K one. But I've heard great things about hers as well. So basically, masking, I just missed my total explanation of it. So you take the masking paper is sticky on one side, and you just put it over your image, and then you stamp your other one, and it'll make this second image look like it's sitting behind the first image. So it'll look like this hot cocoa mug, this one that I'm stamping now, is sitting just behind the other one. So you won't see all that part that sort of overlaps behind it. I had something else about masking I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought. There's other masking products. This isn't it, but there's other masking products you can use, such as like masking pens, masking fluid, and things. And if you look through some of the older videos on my channel from when I first started my channel, you can see that there are a few videos I shouldn't say a few. I'm pretty sure there's one other video on masking where I used one of the masking pens that you can use. But that video is like super old. I want to say that was probably like my third or fourth video maybe. So it's quite old. Don't judge it, okay? I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I do now, but back then I really didn't know what I was doing. So there is still something else I wanted to say about masking, and I can't think of what it was. It'll come to me, I hope. So basically, you can use masking in a variety of different ways. A lot of people use it for building scenes and things like that. That's probably the most handy, but you can also use it for making patterns and things like that, and all that kind of stuff. There's so many things you can do with it. I'm already sitting here like watching this video and going, oh, you know what, I could make a pattern. I could have done a ton of different cool things with it. You can just cut it into shapes. You can, I have, if you saw earlier, I have that big star edger sort of thing cut out on my masking paper, and that was from one I did where I sort of put it down and like watercolored over it. So you just had like the starry bits were white and the rest of it was, you can do die cuts that way. Stamping like I used it here. There's all kinds. You can just like you could just, this is a cool idea. I should write this down. You could just cut a bunch of random shapes and like mask that off, and in my head it will work. I don't know if this is really how it'll work, but in my head it would work like when you were little and you'd go in Microsoft Paint and you would just like crazy make lines and then fill them in. In my head, that's how that works. I don't know if that's true, but in my head, that's it. Okay, so you can see I've just masked it off again because I realized the hot cocoa bit would also might go over the edge of the other cup a little bit. So that was just to be safe and make sure that it wasn't going to go over the edge in case I didn't quite line it up the way I should have. I almost did another masking too, because I was going to put a candy cane on here, which you'll see me try to place in a moment. But then I decided that I wasn't quite going for that much Christmas on this card yet, because I'm probably going to send this to my friend before Christmas. Even though she'd totally be fine if I would have made it super Christmassy, but I didn't. I didn't really go with super Christmas. It's wintry. This card is a winter theme, not a Christmas theme. It's like a pink and purple winter situation. Not so much a Christmas, but I ended up deciding not to use the candy cane. So, see, this was me going, oh, I'm going to put the candy cane in there, so I'm going to mask it again, but then I decided not to do that. And then I actually did, this is where I kind of went overboard, like, I should have just gave it up, like, this was going to work just fine, and then I kept deciding I was going to try to add more things, and I should have just left it well enough alone, and I didn't, and, sometimes I'm really good at being able to see something and walk away from it and be like, nope, it's done. That's all it needs. And other times I'm really bad at that and I do too much. I remember the other thing I was going to say about the masking paper. I knew it would come back to me. If you have a scan and cut and you have masking paper, fun fact, you can in fact cut the masking paper with your scan and cut. I've done it several times. So, if you have a coordinating die set, I'm pretty sure this stamp set does have a coordinating die set, but I have a scan and cut, so I don't tend to buy the dies anymore. I do sometimes, but not always, because there are techniques you can do with coordinating dies that you can't necessarily do with a scan and cut as well, but I didn't do that. I didn't have the die set for this set. I just have the stamp set, and I hand cut it out just because I was feeling lazy and didn't want to use my scan and cut, and I only needed it for, a little while, and I was it's a simple shape, so I knew I could fussy cut it out fairly easily. But you can totally cut this masking paper with your scan and cut if you need to, or if you want to, for that matter. Same thing with like the cups. I ended up hand cutting those out as well. I cut all that up because you guys don't want to watch me try to cut things out. But since I made an oopsie, and this is what made me remember to say that you can cut the masking paper with your scan and cut, because when I did the cups, I got a little carried away and I stamped something that looked really bad, so I hand cut it because my scan and cut would have tried to cut that out, the bad part, and I didn't want that, so all I did was cut around it. And so don't just give up on a thing because you think you did something wrong. Sometimes you can just slice it off and it's all good. And in this case, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh no. And I just cut it out, and you don't even know about it except I just told you. But I cut it out of the video too because it didn't matter, and I was trying to keep the video to a reasonable length. It's like a little over 16 minutes. That's not too bad. So now I'm just coloring it in with my Copics. I just used a brown. I colored it really simple. I didn't do anything crazy, mostly because, once again, this is not, I'm on this like mission. I have this paper that's really not that great, and I'm on this mission to use it up. So that means I can't do any really crazy coloring because this paper just can't handle it. So I kept it really simple. And you'll even see on the cups, like, the blending's not that great. So let this be a note to you guys that your paper does in fact make a difference. Again, I just trying to get rid of this, basically. I have a lot of cheaper old papers from when I first started that I'm just kind of trying to use up. So it's kind of good because you'll see some simpler cards because I can't get quite as technical with some of that. But it's all good. So, I actually want to talk about the marshmallows a little bit too, and then I owe you the story of where this card came from. So the marshmallows, I was gonna color gray and do your really basic stereotypical white blending, I guess. But then I thought about it and decided you still really can't see it on here, and that doesn't surprise me because it's too light for the camera to pick up. But I ended up going with a really, really light brown for them because I thought it made them look a little toasty, and marshmallows tend to pick up the color of the hot chocolate a little bit. So I actually kind of ended up liking the brown better. So while I finish coloring this, I'm going to tell you the story of where this card came from. And basically the story is I was looking through my box, trying to come up with a card and a video and all that kind of stuff. And I saw on this stamp set there's a little greeting that says, "You're the marshmallows to my cocoa." And it made me remember this time that I was over at a friend's house, probably 4 years ago now, 3 or 4 years ago now. And it must have been wintertime. And I really, to this day, can't remember why I was over there. Her mom was there. I was there. I really don't know why I was over there, but I was. And we were all kind of hanging out, and it had to be fall time. Why were we all hanging out at her house? Maybe it was just after she got engaged. I don't know. But I really can't remember now. But anyway, so we were hanging out, and my friend knows that I really like hot chocolate and things, and she was like, "Well, how about I make you some hot chocolate?" Because everyone else was having coffee, and I don't like coffee, so she was gonna help me out. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, "Hey, we have marshmallows too. Do you want marshmallows?" And I'm not usually like a marshmallow in my chocolate fan, but honestly, ever since she did this to me, now I don't mind it like I used to. And I was like, yeah, sure. And like, not normally something I would have said yes to, but for whatever reason, I was feeling adventurous, I guess, that day, which is not like me if you know me in real life at all, but you know. So you do what you do. And now it's like a thing I do fairly often is put marshmallows in my hot chocolate. I mean, I don't drink it. I usually go places for my hot chocolate now. I don't often drink it when I'm home, but still, it's like a thing. And it just made me think of that. And I was like, I should make this card because I was lucky enough I got to see her a couple weeks ago. We've both been super, super careful with all the stuff going on in the world right now. And, we hung out for a little bit. And that was nice. But I still miss her. I used to see her pretty much every day. And now, I mean, I hadn't seen her since it's November. No, I saw her in October. So I hadn't seen her since May, June, maybe July-ish. Did I see her in August? Yeah, I saw her in August. So it'd been like 2 months, and I used to see her every day. So it was because we worked together. So it was kind of nice to see her, but I thought this would be a fun little card to send her, since we're definitely not spending as much time together as we used to. And like I said, it just made me remember that little story. So I also think, like, looking back on this now, it would have been really cool. I haven't actually sent this to her yet, so I could still do it, but I thought it would be cool if I would have put our initials in the little cups. Like, that would have been cute. Because this is also her thing, too. Like, almost every year for Christmas now, she gets me a little hot chocolate thing of some kind. Not every year, but a lot of times she does. Like, last year she got me this cool little, like, reindeer hot chocolate thing, like, with Rudolph, and it was really cute. And I kept it at work and drank it, like, in, like, 3 days. Because I just made myself hot chocolate at work, and it was awesome. So, anyway, I so apologize. I thought my phone was off. It was not. That was my phone. The other thing I thought would be cool that I didn't do in this video is I thought it would have been cool to, I had a glaze pen somewhere. I don't know where it went, but if you have one of those, like, Sakura glaze pens that makes it, like, glossy, I thought that would have been cool because it could have made the cups look like they were, like, shiny ceramic cups. And now that I'm also thinking about it, I was like, I could have just embossed it. Like, I could have just used my Versamark pen and colored over it and embossed it with clear, and it would have done the same thing for me. But I didn't. I'm also wishing I would have colored underneath after I decided to put them on that white little panel. I'm wishing I would have colored underneath it. So that they were like sitting on something or like drawn a table underneath. Oh my gosh, I totally could have done that and I didn't. That's too late to do though, because it's definitely already glued down on the card. But, little things you notice later on that you would change. But overall, I'm happy with it. I think it came out really cute. So, and with the little like sweatery pattern paper, like I said, it's just a little like wintry thing. And you'll also see here in a minute that the greeting, whatever, is way too long for where I put it. Oops. And it's, but it works. It still looks cute over the pattern paper. It still works. I was worried it wouldn't stamp well because the pattern paper's not rough, but there's still a little bump there where it's not even, but it still looked cute. It still came out nice. But that's it. That's today's card. Like I said, super simple. And masking is simple. So I really, really hope you'll take some time to maybe try masking, see how that goes, and, share, tag me on Instagram, Sam's Crafty Castle, if you try it. I love to see it. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you again soon. And have a crafty day.